coat?
Borrow your Viking ship.
Borrow your Viking ship? That you built by hand? And Egil said, shucks, I'll take care of myself. And then I've already told the story about Egil. He brought me his faith. And then went to the hospital. And he didn't want me to feel bad. Because he had a heart attack. Bring me my coat. Because sometimes we don't take it for ourselves as well as we should. And that didn't even stop Egil from being a part of my SCA team, our SCA journey as king and queen, and then Egil and Lucius did not care whether we were kings, whether we were queens, or bankrupts. Egil and Lucius have always gone out of their way to show the grace and care of individuals in this kingdom that deserve recognition. I'm going to look towards you guys because I don't know that you can hear me, and I need to talk about this. There are very few awards that we are able to give to show that these individuals are the pinnacle of grace and faith. They are what everyone should aspire to be. My king won crown at this event a little over 6 months ago. Yeah, that was a first. But it was fun. Immediately, Egil and Lucius contacted us to say congratulations. Let me know if you need it. And I said, you know what would be really cool? I would love to make ciphers. I'd really like cool ciphers. Because Morgan and Amani stole my cool stool, and everybody says that it's Hrothgar's stool, and it's my stool. I don't understand why everybody gets to have a cool stool named after them. Really, you stole my stool. I need more stools. And Lucius and Egil said, oh, you'd like stools? I said, that would be great. I was like, maybe 3 or 4. I don't need to give that many ciphers. And they said, don't worry. Here's TV. I said, it was like, hey, but you know woodworking. Do you know anybody that's making looms right now? You know looms? He said, here, I made these with Lucius. Lucius and Egil give their time and their souls to the society. And it's not just the crown. It's not the crown. It's their shire. I went to Battlemoor Midwinter Feast, and I got a bench. It's the coolest bench I've ever seen. And does everybody in that shire have that bench? I'm not that cool. But I am that cool. Because these two individuals give their souls to this kingdom. And we're the very specific recognition for the grace and courtesy and dedication to the city. We have the honor of this witness. And the Lord is the Legion of God.
Let it be known to all that we, Hrothgar and England, King and Queen of the fair outland, send greetings. Wherefore we, by our own certain knowledge, are mindful that Lucius and Egil have long conducted themselves in an honorable and courteous fashion, and in all ways have borne themselves worthy. We are pleased to recognize them as members of the Legion of Gallantry. May they continue to conduct themselves as befits a member of this order, whose courtesy shines forth as a star in the heavens. In witness whereof we set our hands this 27th day of June, Anno Societatis 61, being 2026 in the Common Era. Hrothgar, King, Ingrid, Queen. Lucius's scroll by Sharon of the Roses. Master Egil's scroll to be delivered at Hoosier Gate. For our newest members of the Legion of Gallantry, 3 cheers! Hip hip! Huzzah! Hip hip! Huzzah! Hip hip! Huzzah! court, Sean.
Sean, like of the dead. But of Teresa. No, I don't think Sean's dead.
He is
Sean's
not.
dead.
No, Sean's 10 is not dead.
Sean's Texas dead?
No.
Sean's Texas dead?
But they have,
Yeah, he may not be here either. Yes.
Here, if you look at this one.
Please.
They can show up every day. I would really.
Their Majesties would then invite into court Arabella de Siena.
Thank you so much. We tried to find you yesterday, but you were coming up here in the courses as you do a lot these days.
Or paperwork, but when she also does a lot of these cases.
We have something very special in this kingdom that we did to recognize those whose martial skills have been serving this kingdom and elsewhere for many years. Yesterday, we bestowed medal of guard to Master Lamont and Master Bell for 15 years of martial service. Today, Mr. Chairman, we would make you a pensioner of medal of guard. And as I said yesterday, this is not something that is to be taken lightly. To be able to still compete and still do this after so many years, it is a thing to be proud of and that everybody should be inspired to. Please.
Tamaris, Artemisia of Caria, Ethelflaed, Joan of Arc, Caterina Sforza. Be it remembered the deeds of heroes and legends as you hear the words of Hrothgar and Ingrid, by right of arms, king and queen of the Outlands. Know ye that considering these ancient paladins, who made fortunate their domains with renown, valor, brightness of counsel, and powerful action, are we bound to make satisfaction to those of our realm who have ascended beyond the endurance of mere mortal men. As surely as the deeds of ancient heroes were written on standing stones, as surely as those stones were worn into the sands of time, and as surely as that same sand o'er ages is ground to dust, so surely shall the deeds of our own beloved legends be written in our hearts. Therefore, do we place in the lists of greatness our beloved and worthy Arabella de Siena, and prefer and create her a companion of our beloved order of Knights Pensioners of the Venerable Guard. Our valiant Arabella did show us that there is no strength without gentility, no elegance without effort, no knowledge without teaching, no wealth without generosity. We charge her as she enters her silver-haired years, not to seek the sweet, soft pleasures of the palace, but to continue to be the exemplar of those warlike yet gentle womanly traits that have made her the living legend she has become. Done by our hands this 27th day of June, Anno Societatis 61, in 2026 in the common era. Hrothgar, king, Ingrid, queen. For Arabella, 3 cheers. Hip hip. Huzzah! Hip hip. Huzzah! Hip hip. This time their majesties invite into court Tiberius Aurelius Albinus.
Your biggest man? Lord of Highness, you also are someone who we find very worthy. Your demeanor is calm and quiet, but it's steadfast. You are a quiet inspiration, and your gentility and grace
Linus is quiet and humble, but Linus is strong, and he supports Benjamin's family with such generosity and kindness. Linus is somebody that I wish that I would know. And we have a Battlemoor that we are able to give grace, that we wish to live up to, that we wish to celebrate the grace and the unity that we gave us great everything without any expectations of promotion. And I was just walking on this one. It is called the Legion of Gallantry. The Gallantry is represented by a charge that I cannot pronounce, but it looks like a wiggly arm with 6-pointed stars. What's the my espoir? I was trying to figure out where we should put Albinus in towards, because Albinus was the first Legion of Gallantry.
Let it be known to all that we, Hrothgar and England, king and queen of these fair outlands and queens, wherefore we, by our own certain knowledge, are mindful that Tiberius Aurelius Albinus is long conducted himself in an honorable and courteous fashion, and in all ways has borne himself worthily. We are pleased to recognize him as a member of the Legion of Gallantry. May he continue to conduct himself as befits members of the order, whose courtesy shines forth as a star in the heavens. In witness whereof we have set our hand this 27th day of June, on the Society of 61, 1846, in the Common Era. Hrothgar, King, England, Queen, for our newest member of the Legion of Gallantry. Hip, hip! Huzzah! Hip, hip! Huzzah! Hip, hip! Huzzah! Scroll by Jan van Amsterdam.
It's not very often you get a chance to point out somebody so cool to so many people. If you do not know that man, I highly suggest you take the opportunity to.
At this time, their majesties would invite forth a group of good gentles. Brielle Riley, Cherwin Yorwood, John the Ox, Sophia Rares, Sharon of the Roses, and Countess Alice de Arbres.
So, I was talking about a stool a minute ago, and I realized that maybe I haven't whined about that in front of you guys yet to know what I'm talking about. So, about 20 years ago, I bought my first piece of SCA furniture because I spent the other 15 years sitting on people's stuff, and I was like, I'm going to buy my own thing. And so I went shopping, and I found the coolest thing I'd ever seen. It was a stool. It had a handle and a purse. The little legs tucked in. I could carry it around. It was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And then I started dating this dude. He was an adequate dude. And he looked at that stool and he's like, that stool is so cool, and it fits in my armor bag. And all of a sudden, everybody's like, oh my God, have you seen Hrothgar's stool? And I was like, that was literally my first piece of furniture. That's my stool. And they're like, no, Hrothgar's stool is so cool. Mistress Mary gets a hold of them. She's like, oh my God, I'm in a loyal scroll for an army more than like the most inspiring individual in the world. And she says, excuse me, I can see Hrothgar's stool. Like, that's my stool. She was like, cut it right off. You can't have my stool. So I was like having a temper tantrum because I'm very important. And I was like, how dare everybody call this vodka stool? They could at least call it the lime stool. But they didn't. They call it vodka stool. And so I decided to do exactly the thing that the Vikings did. I am going to totally flood the market. These are Ingrid stools. And stools are a very interesting thing when you think about how a stool is created. Stools are created to support. Stools have been around for many years. A three-legged stool is a very important thing to think about. Because when one of those legs kicks out, there is no support. There is no balance. The last several months of my life have been a bit of a whirlwind. And I needed support. I needed people that I could call and say, oh my God, Sophia, I forgot it again. Will you please run 2 miles to my tent and give me the trash we have to this morning? And Sophia's like, I was already going to John. And I go to my Alice. Well, actually, my friend Alice told me, she's like, oh my God, you're gonna queen! That was exactly what she said. And she showed up, and my husband met the only person who could get me dressed in under 30 minutes. And he said, oh my God, can she come to every event? Yes, I can. And she said, sure, I can do that. And I said, oh my God, I can't deal with clothing. I have to have clothes. I need like 3 things. I know who can dress me. I'm going to call Master Carolyn because she is amazing and could definitely do 3 dresses. And she said, sure. I don't really have anything to do a lot, but I could do like 3 dresses. And I was like, great, my dry cleaner built everything. And then I was looking for somebody make sure that things got done right. I also really wanted somebody because I knew that he had it in him to be the best Queen's champion that was ever made. But I wanted to make sure that he knew what the Outland was because he asked me at this event a year ago. I was talking about how much they love the history of the Outland. And he said, gee willikers, as we are in the Outlands, I sure would like to know more. I sure feel like I've gotten the whirlwind tour of what it's like to be an Outlander. And so I could not in good conscience ask him to be my champion. Because I knew that he could learn from the best champion I ever met. And would be there at the call of the crown. And I needed somebody. And I didn't even know I needed her. She just showed up and kept showing up. And I'm sorry, it's really hot in here, so you're gonna listen. Not even back to her. And she showed up. Because this is Sharon the Roses. Everywhere. I don't know if you've seen that. She's running like this. She's the She's following me around at the same time that she's being one of the best consorts I've ever seen. She was displaying the courtesy and love that we aspire for in these tournaments. And then, finally, there was the best friend that I didn't know I already had that was just waiting. So tired. Sorry. I don't know how many of you have had the opportunity to be on a boat. If you haven't yet, I strongly suggest you try it out. It's one of the most amazing experiences you'll have. You'll understand everything that's happening in your life. most amazing clothing I've ever seen because she also happens to wear the same size as me. And it was for Brielle had been there since day one, and she got absolutely no reason to. She did have the audacity to make a different girl. That's her first issue. But Brielle is a treasure of this kingdom, and there is nobody up on the table that would rather give my favors. Celebrate these adventures that we've had and sport that you have given me. And I can't do enough to give it back, but I can at least give you a stool with my saber on it so you can stand on it every time you remember what you had to put up with today.
England, Queen of the Outlands, to all in singular send greetings and due commendations. Whereas Brielle, Carrigan, John, Sophia, Sharon, and Alice have given me the courtesy of their special service during my reign, I am minded to make them bearers of the Queen's cipher, that all may know of their devotion to their Queen. By my hand, this 27th day of June, on the Society Tower 61, being 2026 recorded. England, Queen, for the newest holders of the Queen's cipher, 3 cheers! Hip hip! Huzzah! Hip hip! Huzzah! Hip hip! Huzzah! At this time,
The thing was still actually, Sharon, this is for you. Don't let Sophia do this.
Thank you all so much.
There will be
For
stories
letting me look at it.
sometime. Whether it happens. I appreciate you all. Please give a second look. And we're- Okay. She's walking my dog.
At this time, their majesties invite before them, Sean!
Hello.
Hello, Sean. Thank you for coming. Sorry to rouse you from whatever you were doing, but you have some important things. We've heard great word of you from your married of your skills on the archery field, of your work with your father with your gentlemanship and the help that you did around the marriage around this. And for all those things, today, Sean, you were the work of
And to all who come by these royal letters, do we, Hrothgar and England, King and Queen of the Outlands, send greetings. Whereas it has come to our notice through diverse great efforts, Sean has considerably enriched our realm. It is thus our pleasure to recognize these achievements with an award of arms. For this time, we grant all rights and charge that the responsibilities of this rank continue to be met. We further charge Lord Sean to consult with ourselves and our heralds to determine suitable and unique arms, that you might bear those arms throughout the known world as a sign of your great merit, done by our hands this 27th day of June on the Society Tower 61 in 2026 Gregorian. Hrothgar, King, England, Queen, for our newest Star Major Sean. 3 cheers! Hip hip! Huzzah! Hip hip! Huzzah! Hip hip! Huzzah! I scroll by the Saturday Chernow.
Without my name. Oh, Thank you.
Savior?
Maestro Andreas, I have a heraldic emergency that I need to talk to you about. Would you please come here? I have heard reports, and I was a little disturbed by them. And so, Savior, I'm going to need you to answer. That's our best. We're doing it. Very well. Ah. I believe you told me that there was concern and we needed to discuss it. Is that true?
I believe so, ma'am.
I was very worried about this. And so, I believe it was at Dragon's Squad investiture when I called hopefully to find out about my disclosure because I was going to do this again, honestly. My defender comes from this year. I believe I've told you a little bit about the history with Ostiora. Ostiora is the kingdom that our queen signed the treatise with for the White Scarf, which I would very much like to attend to because Ostiora did not recognize the grace and gentility of one of the most amazing men, the most amazing fighters, and the most wonderful herald of women ever passed forward. I cannot in good conscience leave this without consulting this word of me to ensure I, unfortunately, as usual, don't have a scarf. I have my scarf. You all stop it. I have my scarf that was given to me by my attack white scarf that traveled everywhere with me. He is not with us anymore. He sent this through time on the off chance that I ever had this position. Because that is the dedication of the individuals of this order. That is what a white scarf is. The white scarves support the queen. And the queen will support the white scarf. I thought February in May fought for me. I just did it in breakdance. Samuel has traveled with me. Samuel has fought in every tournament possible, not to win, but to test the valor of the individuals who sought his position, because he had already promised his hope to me for 6 months. Samuel is over to me, and I not
Upon the decision of this meeting to be done, contacted your business. He contacted the Queen of Onciora, who made this scarf. I believe you know that symbol. Over Memorial Day weekend, many of your friends lived since we, over this weekend, many of your friends have worn this scarf, as well as the Queen who signed the White Scarf Treaty of the Outlands. As I am your voice here, this was made by my wife. There's my star, but also the same as the star of your home. Left to here. That's it. This is the first bit. Her colors. And my trust.
I appreciate your counsel. And I appreciate your support for the show. For the two of the shows that we're doing.
Huzzah!
Let the scroll be read.
We, Hrothgar and Greidir, King and Queen of the Outland, unto all to whom these present letters shall come, greetings. Being mindful of the great skill with which she wields the raker's slashing blade, and also of the exemplary courtesy shown, both on the field and off, by our subject Sabjorn y Edigardi, and willing that his person should be honored as required by his deserts and very valiant deeds. We do therefore this day prefer and create him as a defender of the white scarf of the Outland. He shall be styled as Don in recognition of his achievements. We further grant him the right to wear the insignia of this rank, to wit, sable on a pale argent, between two rapiers proper a stag's antler bear. To which we set our hands this 27th day of June, on the Societas 61, being 2026 Gregorian, Hrothgar King, Ingreider Queen. The scroll is the work of with Mistress Guimar Osorio de Oviedo, based on a description of the northern peoples by Magnus Olafs, 1555. Three cheers for the newest white scarf of the Outlands, Sabjorn. Hip hip! Huzzah! Hip hip! Huzzah! Hip
Lord, live the Queen!
Long live the Queen!
I really apologize, everyone. It's so hot. I know that this is wrong. But this is also important. The Outlands has a history and culture that goes so deep. Our appreciation and our love for the roots that grow. Our radio community is strong, and it comes from the inside.
While he is composing himself, we will call before us a representative, Master Tala, of the staff of the Scarlet Court. Master Tala, I know at the beginning of this, I gave thanks to all of the congratulations. I realized that we didn't have any announcements, but we did want to Look at me, yeah.
Alright, fine, you don't have to smell.
Is
You
that
can have one.
yours? Cheryl? In yellow?
Yay! This is what happens when you change location last minute. And you're like, okay, cool. We have stuff. You want me to hold you? I knew it was Buttercup that jumped down on that one, right?
True. All it says is celebrating and we appreciate all the work that you have put into this event. We appreciate all the work that all the other volunteers. And like I said, just small things to help recognize and thank
I think there are several people waiting to overwhelm, especially.
For the service of the many hands that put together this great fun we've been able to experience this week. Huzzah! Huzzah! At this time, His Majesty would invite a group of good gentles once more. Mistress Brigitta, Master Yeroon, Diane Ingen, Royga,
they're in there. She's not here.
and Count Matthias Alexander Costa.
Has Your Majesty, Costa? He's done. Looks like it in there. So, this is going to ask you to take this year special thanks for service for her person. I would give thanks. Everywhere for us, this entire area, and we wanted to, there's nothing we can do. Thank you for all the things that you do. Look out, sorry to catch you in the middle of whatever. As I was saying, I get to give out some special recognition to the folks who have done things throughout. I was saying that this has been everywhere and done everything for us, up to and including watching our house on a weekend that we were not able to find our regular house. Who, by the way, is Mistress Dorinda, who your name announced, who many of you may remember was my team conduit. She does not play the SCA very much anymore, but she has been instrumental also in this way, in keeping our house, our pets,
And my dad.
and her veteran's father safe while we are able to come and travel as always. So, amazing help all. Just minutes ago, I had to recognize Pastor Room, we asked you to do a difficult job and a job that you really don't do. You jumped in and said, maybe I'll do it. And you've done an incredible job. You made our life easier. And that is the point of the head of household, to make our lives easier. We've done that in Sweden. We've always done up to that. What can I do? Costa, you, sir. But been such a help as our steward. Show up, load us up, get us going, but beyond that, you have been a helping hand wherever I've been and whatever I've been here. And you've made the S-Wells that were on our Legion's Gallantry that you're giving out tonight. You've made the badge on that sort of Battlemoor. You have stepped up just in any way that I can possibly ask. And for that, I would thank all three of you, all four of you, for me as well. Bearers of my cordon royal.
Huzzah! Hrothgar, by right of arms, king of the outland, to all nobles and gentles, unto whom these letters come. Greetings! Know ye that we perceive it to be becoming to our royal majesty that we should exalt with singular honors those who show themselves constant in our service, especially in those things which proceed from one mere prerogative and liberal grace. Hence it is that we name Brigitta, Jorun, Diane, and Casca as bearers of the Cordon Royal! Huzzah! As a sign of our favor and in appreciation for their dedicated labors throughout our day. Done by our hands this 27th day of June, on the society Battle 61 in 2026 Gregorian. Hrothgar, King!
Brigetta deserves both. We were worked out to
These cordons were made by my hand. They were cast from junk silver coins into ingots, hammered by my hand. They bear my initial. These cordons, in the garter style, were also made by my hand. In my past 3 reigns, I have made cordons of this style that bear a stag as one of my siblings. So, given them the option to have either, and thank you so much for everything you've done. I will get the ring of verses down. Thank you.
3 cheers for the newest holders of the Cordon Royal. Hip hip! Huzzah! Hip hip! Huzzah! Hip hip! Huzzah! But Casca, we're not done with the
Secretary.
His Majesty was discussing a couple things there, and grabbed and he looked at me like I was weird. What are you talking about? The compliment I've done. Screw up this ring. I would like to point out this one. Yeah, from Vincent Princess Ornate have been remade. Our history is home because of this man's kindness, generosity, and enthusiasm to any research. We created our lost coronets in conjunction with my husband, Sir Costa. Is a paragon of this. He is everything that I wish.
Sir Costa, before we were friends, before we were partners and buddies and making fantastic art and showing each other things and sharing each other things, before all of this, you were a man who was an inspiration to this kingdom, an inspiration to others. You've been with us for a very, very, very long time. You continue to inspire. You continue to show what it is that makes this dream a beautiful vision. And today, we would like you are one.
Huzzah! who come by these present letters send greetings. Know that Count Matthias Alexander Costa is a gentleman whose virtues and chivalry shine forth in this realm. We are therefore minded to name him a walker of the way of the outland. We charge him to go as he has gone before, and be as a palmer on the path before us to light our way. We further grant Count Costa the right to bear the insignia of this most noble order, to wit, Argent, a palmer, robed, hooded, and bearing a staff sable, that all may know of our high esteem, done by our hands this 27th day of June, on the Society of 61, being 2026 in the common era. Hrothgar, King, Ingrid, Queen, scroll by Baronessa Phaedra of Bastos. For our newest walker of the way, 3 cheers! Hip hip! Huzzah! Hip hip! Huzzah! Hip hip! Huzzah!
It is our greatest honor to be able to choose the one walker of the way that we will recognize during our day. Sir Costa is a giant among us. He is a lion of the kingdom of Aetna. He is a knight of the order of the chivalry. He is a paladin who gives of himself far more than sometimes is needed. And he is an artist that graces the society with art that breathes and lives.